Right, so over here we've got three layers of clips. The first one is me hanging from the tree, and the second one is we have a clean background plate of the scene. So now we're gonna right click and we're going to send this clip, or this entire section clip here, we're gonna send it straight into After Effects by right click, replace with After Effects composition. Right, so now that we're in After Effects, to get this started with, I want to first come in, stabilize the shots. I want to warp stabilize this shot for a second before we can get the right tracking out of it. So I'm gonna tap that, reset, and leave it to do its thing. I'll be right back. Right guys, as you can see, it has finished rendering, or should I say stabilizing the shot. I am happy with the result. Yeah, that's a pretty much nice result I can get there. The next part I want to do now is simply by pre-composing this footage one more time, move our attributes and click OK. So for the next step now, with the file being stabilized like that, I will control save. It's very important to always hit save, because if you don't hit save, you end up losing files or something much more crazier. So anyways, I want to go into the animation section here, and I'm gonna click track camera. So I want to have a 3D tracking of the view, and while it's doing that, we have a clip. Let me see, I said new folder. Why did I say that? Delete. So we're gonna bring in some clips, and if you give me just a second, I'll bring that clip in. Okay. Here we go. Alright guys, we're back. The clip is fully tracked and everything looks good, but we have to see how good it looks first of all. So this tutorial will be the simplest process, the way you could take to apply VFX without straining yourself. So to begin with, I'm going to duplicate this clip. Oh, I did the wrong thing there. I'm going to duplicate this clip, and by clicking Ctrl D and switch that off, we're going to use that to reference later to see how far we've come in the process of creating this. So in the next step now, I want to click this section and then just go all the way to the end and just grab. We're just gonna grab, this is like they're on the front shot, so I'm gonna just grab from this, all of this, because they're like further away from the scene, and that's gonna give us the accurate tracking. So if I right click that and create a solid, create solid and camera. Now with the solid created, I need to adjust this solid so that it can fit the frame and look proper. So right now it's not looking upright, so we're gonna put that up, rotate it. Let's see if it gives us a key. There we are, green. We're gonna rotate it. We're trying to project it to look well placed, I would say. So we're gonna expand that, and now I can adjust this properly. But one more thing I would like to do is I want to get this to go upright. There we are. So we need it to look maybe that way. There we go. We're coming together nice and easy now. You know, the new After Effects update is like gets really tricky sometimes. I'm not a good storyteller when it comes to this. So now we pan this, and now we scale that. We want to keep scaling that to make it feel the frame, basically. We keep scaling, and pretty much like so. We got it nailed. Great job, guys. We're going to keep scaling it till we fill the entire frame, basically. And then let's see, I'm gonna rotate that, and you can see the more we've got closer to the camera, we've seen that it's a bit slanted. So we can fix that by coming into this section and putting it back in perspective. So something like that, but looking up from the sky. Okay, here we go. Doing good so far. So we keep expanding till we're now fully in the scene here. So if I right click this, let's see this one more time. Now I'm going to pre-compose this clip. I'm going to pre-compose that, but I'm going to leave all the attributes in there. I'll say leave all attributes and click OK. Now if I double click this, we come in here, we have our comp footage here, like the solid. So the first thing we need to do is bring in the clip from the Stranger Things upside down blah blah blah. So I'm gonna drag that up in there. So if I take this, drop it on this solid, now I filled up the frame, meaning if I go back in here, we now have something like this. So if I scroll like that, we now have that. So we need to sell this, we need to make it sell. So by doing this, we can, you know, adjust it even further. You can see it's quite large within the scene. I'm gonna play that one more time. Yeah, we can scale that back down a little bit more. Scale, just bring it back just a bit so we can get to see more of that. And now I can push this slightly down towards the frame because we want to see more of the monster within the sky. I can see we're about to cross over to section that we don't want to reveal, and also the bend within the clip itself is annoying me. So I want to just adjust that real quick, and then click that, push it towards the scene, just like that. Now if we watch that one more time, ooh, we fucked up, but it's okay. All we have to do is just, you know, adjust this again, make it look right before we push forward again. And now it's a bit slanted, right? We got issues from both ends. I can undo that, undo. 1 second, guys. Okay guys, so we're back. I am going to switch this off real quick, and I want to type Luma key. So when I select the Luma key, I'll bring it and drop it on my footage right there. Boom. So now I'm going to take this clip to the front, sorry, and I'll switch that on. So what I want to do next is, with the Luma key, I want to go from key out brighter. So if I start scrolling this, you can see I'm bringing back information into the scene, and it's looking really good, just like that. And we want to feather that just a bit, not too much to get crazy, no. So we kind of need to just feather that just a bit, and yeah, sort of get one in there. Maybe just one is fine. You just need to keep adjusting this till you're happy with whatever the result looks like. So if I look into that, you see I got the white right there. When it comes to the trees, it's always like harder to get to understand. But the way I balance this out is if I bring in the curve, CRVE, if you type in curves, I drop the curves on the background footage itself. Let's start with that monster monster sky or sky. Let's just call that sky for Confucius says. Sky, and in here I can adjust it until if blends with my clip basically. See, the more brighter it's going crazy now. So just leave your original state. Pause for right, guys. So as you can see, we have the next part now, and it's looking really it's not really selling it. You can see the problems we have around the edges. It's not really looking right. I mean, for a playful post this would be all right, but we want this to be really sick. So we are going to go in and pre-compose this to make it really sell to taste. Are you ready? I'm on at the producer where they do magical.
For where? When you record am?
And I want studio like that, Seven Sisters.
Seven Sisters.
Mm.
Okay, now you still there for Seven Sisters.
Yeah.
Okay, now 708 beats. That make
No.
So who produced the song now?
Nah, one guy, you don't know him. But in the stay for Seven Sisters.
What's his name?
Chris.
Okay. And the guy where you feature, is he based in UK?
Nah, the same guy.
That two-way guy.
Nah, him produce his stuff.
So he's a producer as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope, bro. That's dope. The song is dope. Both of them now they sing.
Bro, you know how it did now, man, they work.
Both of them I want you to sing if you finish, guys.
Eh?
I still when I want you to sing if you finish also, that's all.
Ah.
You hear someone go say the same picture somebody, you go just say as you they sing, you go tell the next person I rap or something, the next person go sing badly or don't play it, go makes much sense. So sing that on the jam. You can't just get it off.
Yeah, you're funny. The way you take talk and I make me laugh. So guys, as you can see, we've got the eyes looking not too bad. It's a nice result. But now there's something interesting I want to create. I want it to come in, like to grow in basically. So I need to add a bit of turbulent displacement. But to do that, I need to create a new layer max on my subject. So I'm gonna use the circle tool here. That just want to create a circle in the center of it, and then I will align it. Now I need to see this properly because right now it's too translucent, or maybe the label itself of it. I need to be able to see that. So here we are. In this instance, I will select subtract, basically subtract. So I want to put that around where my iris is, somewhere there, and I want to expand it to kind of like, you know, fill the entire iris. Now once I've done that, I should have something cool like that. Yeah, easy to work with. So as you can see, the masking kind of fall out of place, and that is not cool. So what I need to do is I need this to happen in the beginning actually. So I think just right about here, we'll follow it back, and then when it starts flipping, can add a max path and, you know, adjust it to where it needs to go. So if I push that keyframe away, now I can adjust this back in place, literally make it interesting. Right. Oh, sorry, I need to do that one more time. I moved the wrong one. Okay, so once we got that, I need to open this mask up. Let me lock that. So put a mask on the max part. Once I tap that and highlight this, just to cover the iris, like I said. Right, so somewhere there we push back, because the more we push back is going to adjust as well. So if I push this away, I see where the iris is. I can put that there and, you know, bring it down a bit. And push all the way back, and we're fine now. It's looking good. So what I need to add with this is basically I need to animate the feathering. So if I go in and feather it like that, and then I need to, you know, what's the word? Let me just take that back to add and subtract for the black one. Right, so now we have something cool going on there. So I will feather that just by an inch, not too much. Let's see, I don't want to feather it too much. Right, and then the expansion, I want to animate that. So I want this event to start happening right after this section here. So I'm going to add in a keyframe, basically sucking it away completely. So just right about here, we see the growth start happening around the eyes. See that? Pretty sick. Right, one more thing to do is the masking for this section, for the circle section here. I need to go in and animate that to fade in. So I can highlight that and go in, squeeze it right in there till it disappears basically. So technically it's gonna grow out. That's the idea behind it. So I just want to make it like one-ish. Right. So from here we see this. I could flip that. So I want to flip this. Let me flip this from here. I'll take it way back. Now that is sick. Okay, maybe I take that back in position. I know where it's there now. Yeah, it's fine there. So I put this back to fit, and let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, cool. So if I switch off the mask, I can begin to see how it happens. Pretty sick. So what I want to do next is I need to bring in turbulent displacement. If you type in TURB, you get the turbulent displacement. So I will add that on that layer, and then I want to just zoom in so I see what's going on. And if I push forward, you kind of see, I mean, not a lot, but it's got this nice, one second. Right, so with that turbulent displacement, I will set the amount and the size, and when I type the U, I can bring that information up. So I want to put this all the way back to the start, and I could dial this all the way to like 200, or just keep using your eyes to kind of see it in action basically. Alright, I set this to full so I can just see what the result looks like. That's sick. Now if I slide this, I just want to keep sliding it till I get something interesting going on. So maybe something around there looks really sick. So if I render this, now we have something really cool like this just evolving around the eyes. Yeah, that's what's up. Yes, sir. I love it. Now let me put this to full frame. Let's see what that looks like. So you can see the difference between that, the right eye, and the left eye. So in the real world, that's my left eye, but sorry, that's my right eye, to be honest. Anyways, pushing forward, I love the displacement you see around the eye pupils there. Everything is sick. Love it. The way it comes in as well. Oh my god, straight good. Right, so I need to do the same thing for the left eye, and that's what we're gonna do right now. So the same process as I applied before. Now let's see how that do. Let's see. Yes, I'm happy with the result. And guys, that's it. That's how we create this demonic or possessed looking eye with After Effects. Pretty sick. I can switch off the two because we don't really need them active, to just get that out of the way. And this is what we got. Pretty sick. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, share, do everything. Leave us a comment, tell us what you feel about this effect, and try to recreate it and share it with us. and I would definitely put it up as well. So now we're gonna continue this tutorial. We started from the sky scene, which is already set. I think I must still do some little touch up to kind of finalize the grade for it, but that's what we have for this right now. And there's just something I need to add to this. I will come back to that. But going to the next section here, we need to recreate, not sure yet, but we'll decide. So this, I need to repeat what happened from the previous take. So the second one, the eye, we've got that done, that happening. And now for the next one, the leg leaving the earth, you know, pretty cool. And now we've got the challenging section here that we need to deal with. If I open this up, so we need to key out this green screen, stick it onto the body, and have it ready for the main set. So this is the background play we've got for this shot. Let me switch this off and switch this on as well from the bottom. Now this is the frame we're working with. This is what we got. Pretty sick. We'll be right back after this break. Right, we're back. I'm gonna quickly, you know, go in, and I need to set this with a different color. So this is the background. Let's get this. This is the background. This is the shot of the legs, and this is the shot of upper body. Right. So the legs and the upper body are going to the top. I'm gonna start this first. Command G or Control. Just tap G on your keyboard. Sorry. If I tap the key right now, I can go in and, you know what I would love to do? I would love to, you know, just go in and I'm gonna track this. How about we track this? Because I want to do it in a way that I can apply the legs into the character. Right. So we expand and mask around just like that. Boom. Now what I want to do is come to the first frame. I just want to make sure. So if I tap max M, I can set this to none and adjust this to fit properly, just like that. Okay. Okay, what's going on there? I think it shifted a bit, so let's put that back in place. Good thing about this is the body is also revealing, which is good. So now I can start tracking forward with the masking. So just track forward, and I'm gonna zoom in. We want to make sure that everything is in place. Don't want to keep our eyeballs off that, and keep on tracking forward. It kind of shifts in here, so what I want to do is I'm just gonna do that, pin it into that corner and track. Here we go. Right, so the tracking is done, guys. The tracking is done. So just from this section here, I'm going to track backwards again, just because of the lack of steadiness of the key. So I'll start going backwards again, and now we got something much more accurate, much better. So here we are, sweet, nice, and tracked. And let me fit this to screen, and then inside the masking, enable it, click add. And now I want to deal with the legs. So the legs, there's a cool thing about the legs. We don't need the legs to feel like it's in motion, because it might not stick to our scene properly, because I was moving around a bit. We can have that real natural movement on it actually. Yeah, let's do that. So if I tap the G, I can come in again and do the same thing like we did before, and just select around. Doesn't matter much, and boom. Now we need to key this. First, what I want to do is I'm going to pre-compose this. Pre-compose, move all attributes, and I will click OK, just like that. Now inside our attributes here, we're gonna go in there, and everything is already masked. So what I want to do is I'm going to duplicate this and click on key light. So we have the key light, drop it on the clip, and I'm gonna switch off the key cleaner and the advanced spill suppressor. So for the first thing I want to do is I'm going to select the brightest part of my green, and just by doing that we already got it looking not too bad. So now I want to make that much interesting. Like, I gotta clean it up. If you've done green screen work before, you know what's up. So I'm gonna expand this screen matte section here, the clip black and the clip white. That's what we're looking at. I set this at 1. It's what I like to do. Then the screen gain, I can drop this 2 down and sort of experiment around it, just like that. I've already executed majority of the backdrop of it, so now I can clean up that grain a little bit more, and just like that. The legs, we can tie that up properly later because it's reflecting a bit of grain from the grass, the smudge. So I will leave that the way it is. Now once I'm done, I'm going to copy this by selecting Ctrl X. Just copy that and come down here to the track matte section and translate it to alpha matte. Now when I switch this on, hold on, yeah, to alpha matte. Interesting. Right, so I need to put this back into final look. Now, right, there we go. So I switched that top one off, and now we have this. Now if you remember, I copied the advanced suppressor, so I need to apply that to the second layer, and in this section I can tap in ultra, and now I can activate it, and now we've taken care of the entire grain that was in the shot before. It's much cleaner and looks much better as well. So when we come back to our project file right here, I think that's not it. Let's see, what shot is this? That's the leaf in the ground. Right, when we come back here, we now have that. That's what we have, and it's actually moving, which makes it much interesting as well, to be honest. Right, so I want to connect this to the body, but before we can do that, I need to also key the body out as well. So I can pre-compose that, move our attributes, and click OK. So in here I can double tap. In the first keyframe here, I want to duplicate the layer, set this to the how do you call it, the alpha matte. But let's not do that yet. Track matte first. So the first one, I want to activate that, switch that the bottom one off, and I can use what I just used earlier for the keying and just adjust it to taste, right? So the upper body, I just drop it in there, and boom, it's looking good already. Now when we switch this on and activate that, we get this. Now we need to clean up the body as well, so we grab the spill suppressor that we created earlier, and we also drop that on the lower leg, on the lower section. Now that's looking good. So the next thing we need to do is we need to apply a refined soft matte for the edges. So when I drop that, you can see it's happening right towards the bottom of the layer. So we don't need that. I think we'll go with the matte cleanup. So we got the matte cleanup, the BCC matte cleanup here. I want to see how good it is to, you know, clean up the edges of this layer without killing too much of the information. It's taking a while to drop, so I might reconsider using this plugin because of the long-term process of it. Look, it took a while to come up there, and I don't want to deal with that. I mean, the processing unit of my computer, it's not at the right speed for that. So let's say matte choker. Let's use a matte choker for this. So drop that, and instantly, do we have any deliciousness? Or maybe I can add the matte choker into the upper body and see what happens. There you go. Straight away we get this. Or we can just, you know, switch that off and bring in that soft, refined soft, drop it there. Yikes, it's gone crazy. It has gone crazy. Right, okay, that's too much. Feather. Right, we don't need to do none of that. All I can do is we can always come back into the two comps. Let me just switch them off for now and bring them back here. Now you can see there's a color difference between the two. We will adjust and make that right. Just bear with us. So with the legs, I want to click on the layer and place this at the shoulders, the waist area of the lower body part. Then I want to drag that into that. Then I can put that behind the entire layer. Oh, looking goofy already. Right, so if I pick them both, stretch them out, I can kind of see what needs to be done. So for the legs, right, also I can always, like, for example, to make this look accurate, I can always, you know, switch on. Let me just grab a clip from here. Let me just grab the legs, or the upper body, sorry. Let's grab the upper body. And then I want to grab that, come back into my main comp here, and I can paste that. Then mask, I want to delete the mask off. And the idea behind this is to make this to look realistic enough. Right, there is a bit of switching going on there, so I want to switch that back to normal. Now I can, okay, what just happened? Let me see, turn that off. Yeah, we don't need the advanced suppressor either. So what I can do next is I can drag this layer to the side and just see what's looking right. You know, if you don't use that as an example, you end up making your content look silly. So just right about there looks right to the proportion of what we're creating. Okay, this is looking good. This is looking good. So let's bring that just a bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to track the body parts here so that I'm able to apply make this stick with it with the lower body part. So to do that, this is what we're going to do. But before we do that, I need to fix the color variation that we have in here. That little issue needs to be fixed. So if I come in and switch that to standard and kind of just play around to bring back, there you go. So as you can see, we're bringing it back to the color we need it to be. And I can come back again and kind of just try to understand what's going on, because we shot this under a shade, so the lighting difference is really different. What I could do is bring in curve, or I could bring in the hue, saturation, and boom, kind of like lower body. That's what we're looking for. So I can blow off the master lightness to kind of match, but you see it's really going crazy now. Yeah, so I think we'll just leave it at the original state that it was. Maybe the trousers could be black, could be different, you know, although they share the same color. So the color variation is not that much to be worried about. I'll take that off. Let's use curves to try and fix this. So if I bring in my curves, I can adjust that. Can go into, let's say, the grain channel, and the idea is trying to match the look. Let's go for the red channel. There we go. There we go. Looks well matched a bit, so I don't want to go too much in like that. So just about there, we have it looking the same to the upper body, and now we've got a good sense of what we're doing. We'll be back. Quick break. Right, so now that we've got the perfect lighting matching condition here, I can, you know, switch that back off and put us where we need to go. Alright. Right, so now I need to track, like, I don't know how it's gonna be possible, but the idea is tracking that shot and placing the leg so that it moves when the body is moving, because right now when it moves it goes a bit out of frame. It gets funny. So I want to take it back to the first frame, and I'm going to track this body. So upper body, I want to use a track motion, and in the track motion I will select, because there's not much movement, so I just need somewhere where the color kind of looks different from the rest. Then I will set it as a rotation. With the rotation, I will bring that down to another rough area that can stay on for a while. So let's see, a better rough area would be this area here. You see it kind of snaps when you get it locked. Right, let's see if we get lucky with this. So before we push forward, I need to go in layer, new, null layer. So with that created, I'm gonna drop that right at the bottom. We don't need that for now. Edit, and we go into the null and click OK. So back to the upper body, and now we can track forward. Now that is jumping around so much that I know it's not really supposed to be like that. So I want to readjust this. I can click the reset, or I could just, you know, I was thinking I could use these two colors right there. Those two colors really stands out and could really help with the tracking process, but I don't know how often they move. So let's just try that as an attempt, and then we start tracking forward. There we go. That's much better, I would say. Much better. Right, so once the tracking is done, I'm gonna push this. Oh, it's doing a bit of saving. Yeah, so I'm gonna take this right back to the start, and what I want to do now is I want to apply that tracking information that I'm happy with to the null as designed. Right, so now we've got that, and the way to make this work is by doing something like this. Check this. So I'm gonna take my legs and kind of pan it to the null. You know what that means? Let's check it out. So meaning now whenever the body is moving, the legs will be in the same position with it. Crazy, crazy. Right, so we want to fix that because I can see a bit of it coming out from the side. So I could just take that, grab that, and just insert it right about there. Right about there looks alright. And one more thing we can do is I can, just slightly rotate that a bit, just cause it wasn't looking straight. Yeah, much better now. Now let's see what we got. Here we go. And if I play that backward, this is what we have. Now it looks silly because the background is moving and the subject is also standing in one place. It just looks ridiculous. Let's make that. Let's correct that mistake right now. All right, let me just play what's there right now. Very weird, but it's just for the purpose of this. It looks very weird, I'm not gonna lie. So I can pre-compose these two layers together now that we finished with them. So I can pre-compose both of them into one, just like that. Pre-compose, and we're going to move to the next part now. So I said this is J, this is J, and the background, I'm gonna switch this off and I'm going to track the background. So let's get this way out to position, and I can tap on the background itself and apply track camera. If we're lucky, we get a good result. I mean, come on. Alright guys, so as you can see, the tracking is done. We have, I think, a nice tracking going on here. We got something we can work with. I think. Right, so in this section here, what we need is the base, the floor, where the point meets. We don't need the further distance. So I want to just come in, select this entire area just like that, boom. And if I just maybe go back, matter of fact, if I just go back all the way back into the last frame, let's see what we have there. Right, so you can see there's a bit of distance in here. So let's go in here. I want to select this because the layer starts from here, so I just highlight that and select, and I will do create null and camera. With the null selected, I can go check up my J, bring my J into the scene, and what I can do is I can parent that to the track null and switch. I can toggle that to switch the modes, and then I can get into the 3D selection here and just activate that. Immediately you see what's going on in the scene. I need to set that up basically. So if I go into the angle here just to adjust that, bring that back into frame, and I can, you know, just play around till I get it right. So the green section here, I can move that, and then the rotation I can adjust that back to normal and push that up. So if I do a test just now, you can already see what this is gonna look like. Check this. So it's in one place, it's in the same position as it moves, but it's not the same size as it's supposed to be. So what I would do is I'll switch on that layer. Let's bring back that layer. We need that layer back. Bring back the layer. Bring back the layer. So I go into this. We need the body. Control C. Come back into my pre-comp. Paste that and switch that off. Obviously, we don't want that. Can toggle back. Switch that back to normal. And now I want to get rid of the mask. I think I shouldn't have deleted this in the first place. So I'll place that there. I want to scale my J character here to fit what I'm looking at so that it looks realistic when it starts fading into the distance. So now I can adjust this slightly to kind of get it right. So the J character can push out a bit more, like so, and then we can move towards the side to merge with the other character itself. Now we're looking good. We're looking good, people. There's a skew thing going on here where the subject just looks a bit funny. So let's just fix that a bit, the skewing. Right, there we go. Now if I wanted to make this interesting, this is where we get really, you know, interesting with it. So let me switch off the upper body layer, bring that to the bottom. Now I can tap the position for my character, insert a keyframe, then when I move to the ending here, hold on, yeah, when I move to the ending here, I can, you know, drag that up into the sky. Now we're gonna see a very nice sexy looking depth with this. We're gonna do a little bit of light wrapping and compositing to make it look realistic enough. So that's selected. I'm going to ease this in and out by tapping F. Yeah, guys, so we're back. The next thing we need to do to get this going is we need to composite this shot so that they all feel the same. But before we do that, we need to create the chaotic skyline, which we did in our previous first design. I would say right there, boom. So we need to composite this over to the other footage itself. So I want to grab what I need. So this section and the dust particles, that's what I need. So we have the sky and the dust. So I want to copy that just like that. Let me switch the toggle and see what's going on here. Right, so if I copy that over to my pre-comp here, I could just name this composition setting floating. So I name this floating so that we find it easy on the tab. So within this section, I am going to simply left click to add it into the scene. And before we can do anything else, I need to come back into that skyline. We see it open there, and that's quite on. So we need to switch that off and push that. We don't want to push it back. I would say we don't want to push it back. All right, let's go back into the floating and adjust the skyline clip. I could just create my own variation from scratch, which I would recommend to do because you don't want to alter the other composition itself. So with this shot, I can come back into my project file and bring back that Stranger Things monster locking within the clouds right there. And now before I push anything forward, actually let me just take that off. What I need to do is I need to come back. I'm going to switch off my character J right off. I push this right to the bottom. We don't need it. We don't need this either. And we have the dust. Is that the dust particles? Yes. So we can switch that off for now. We'll bring that on in a bit. So what we're looking to do here is I want to select the background, go into the effects, highlight the tracker, then I need the entire content within this section here. That's the foreground basically. So I don't like the direction it's facing, so let's try and just find, matter of fact, I could just find one. Usually it's always best to just pick more than just one so that you have the option. So I need something with a flat base surface facing us basically. Right, I think something around here falls in that category. This section here falls there. So I can create a new null from that. Now with the null created, I can, call that background track. So background track, and I can put that next to what I should have made it solid with that. Sorry, let's take that one more time, or better yet, no, another method. The first method you saw was me creating a solid and pre-composing that solid to put in the information in there instead, which would make it easier for you to switch the background at any point, which is the best way to go. So to do that, I'm going to take away that what we just created, and instead I'm going to create a null out of it. So if I select this just to bring back the tracking, and if I right click 8.9, all right, so coming back here, I want to tap that section and I want to right click and create solid. Now the cool thing about this solid is, my god, matter of fact, let me just go into that solid right there, and I'm going to scale it up, right? And then we need it to kind of face the direction, which is the frontal direction. So just pan that around, something like that, and ascend or descend, whichever. Then the tilt, kind of get it right as well, and we want to kind of like, bring that out again. Now the position, I can just push that to the center of it. Now we're going to scale that up. Yeah, so now we're going to scale that up really wide to kind of fill the frame, just like that. And if I were to play that, okay, maybe we can, bring that back a bit like that. Now we're talking. So if I were to play that, that should be moving to the background, but we really can't see it. See right there? We need to go back and fix that. So we push the timeline to the end just to get a sense of what's happening, and then we scale it even further just to fill up the entire frame. And then when we push back, that's what we get. So for the ending, now I'm going to pre-compose this solid right now. Pre-compose, leave all attributes, and then click OK. So when I open up that solid, I can go in and bring in my Stranger Things background, the crazy scary background, drop it right into the composition itself, and I can adjust that because we need to have the monster already bridging through whatever. We can always fix that later on. I can scale this and get rid of the black bar within it. And if I come back into the shot itself, let's say the floating, we now have this. But it's looking crazy right now because we've not done one thing. We've not separated the, and then one thing I'm noticing about this is we need to go back in there into that composition. Let's just close down some of this for now. We don't need them. We don't need the leg, upper body, we don't need that. We already wrapped that up. What I'm looking for is, we don't need this either. We need the information. Yeah, I'm going to scale this back into the frame because of the size of it. So I can scale that, put it at the center, and when I come back to the floating, it should be adjusted a bit more to the frame. Now I can see where I'm lacking a bit, so I can just push that up, and when I come back, it's adjusted a bit more. So now pushing all the way back, we now see this. So by seeing this, we can always adjust that back into the section here by just scaling a bit more and dragging that to the top again. And now we should be looking fine. 100. So what we need to do next is we need to separate. We need to first of all switch off the solid here, and then we need to separate this background from what's, and we want it to go behind this. So we've already done this. What we can do is just go in and grab the information from this for the sky keying. So we use the Luma. We use the Luma, refine, and the hue. So I can select that and then floating and come back in there, and I want to paste that on the background shot. But before I do that, I want to Control D, and then by doing so, I can bring the background, let's see, I can bring that solid we created, which is the background, between the two, and now I can come in here, take away the tracking for that footage, and paste that information. Now if it doesn't look right, we can always go in and adjust it a bit more, but this is what we should have if all goes well. Right, so switch that off, switch that off. Let's just see what's happening first of all. So between where we have the monster, it's not switched on, that's why. So here we are, and I can go back on there and activate my refine and everything else, and now this is what we have.